say where I'm going to pick up, so.
Every single thing.
I think that might
You know
work.
they have the things for like your car, you have a GPS, you suction cup it, you get one of those.
Oh, yeah. I thought I was being okay buying like a
That's pretty cool.
80-cent little thing. It's broken. It still works.
Number 15.
15?
I mean, I did all the rest of them right, and I'm pretty sure I did that one right, and I checked my math, but it's saying it's
And
wrong.
we're where now?
Oh, on 5.7, sorry. 294, number 15.
Yeah, you gotta be specific with us old people.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I didn't mean to call you old.
You wait long enough, everybody gets old. 15. So 15 says determine A5 when A1 is 4 and D is 1.
So I put it into the equation. A5 equals 4 plus, 4 plus 5 minus 1 times 4. Well, D, they give you D, don't they?
Yes. All right, so AN is 4 plus N minus 1 times 1. D is 1. So that's where the mistake happens.
I checked it so many times. Maybe that was it. Yeah, that would do it.
You youngins always make mistakes. All right. Any other questions from homework?
Can I take us back to
Yeah, sure.
9.4? Number 22, that got me in a brain twister.
9.4, number 22.
Yeah.
I like that. So this one is so that's section 9.4, the volume section. 22. This is the three-dimensional cookie cutter. You can argue with me that cookies are in 3D, but you know. So we got this ancient ice cream cone that somebody's taken a cut out of. Right? Well, it's, let me figure it out there. Here, I'll just do it that. All right. So cut this piece out of the middle, right? So this is the same idea as the what is this area? What's my original dough? My original shape before I make the cut. This is one, right? 22. Who asked me this? This is one? Yeah. What's the original shape before I make the cut? And what's the shape of the cut?
Cylinder?
Which one's the cylinder?
The inside?
The inside, the cut. Okay, so the cut is a cylinder. And we know the formula for the cylinder. Right? And what was the original shape?
A cone.
A cone. So the original shape is a cone. So out of this cone, somebody's cut a cylinder, a cylindrical subsection of the cone, right? So if I just find the volume of the cone and I find the volume of the cylinder, I just subtract the two. So it's exactly like the cookie cutter problem from before, right? You guys still have these really worried looks on your faces, huh? What's the volume of a cone? Remember, the cone is the most simple example of what? Pyramid, I love it. So the cone is the most simple example of a pyramid. So it's going to be 1/3 big ass BH, right?
Yes.
So it's going to be 1/3. The base is a circle, pi r squared, h. And of course that's the volume of a cone directly, but this is the idea that leads to this equation. Yeah.
I know that at one point you had said that you were going to write the formulas down for us so we could use it on the test. Is that also for the quiz on Monday?
For the quiz, actually the quiz,
Does not cover that.
no, I'm going to put the formulas on the board that you need for the quiz.
Okay, cool.
The day of the review is when we'll talk about formula sheet for the test.
Okay.
So is everybody with me so far? And the formula for a cylinder is the same thing except you don't, it's not cut out.
Making people cry.
It's the whole cylinder, right? So So the volume of a cylinder doesn't have the 1/3 piece, it's just the pi r squared h. But these are for the cylinder, these are for the cone, right? So you just got to be a little careful. So do each one at a time. So what do we know about the cone? What's the radius of the base of the cone?
2.5?
2.5, because they tell me all the way across is 5 inches. So the radius is 2.5 inches. So for the cone, 1/3 pi, radius is 2.5. And how tall is it?
11 inches.
All right, so I got one player, one person playing along. Right, so they tell you out here this is 11 inches tall. So you just got to throw all that stuff together. Now who can tell me, what do you know about the cylinder? Maybe somebody else in Archie. Who else is
Diameter.
helping me out here? Yeah, the diameter of this guy is how much?
The one
4
inside is
inches.
4, but the one outside is 5.
Yes, that's 5. That's where we got the 2.5
Yeah.
for the radius. So what's the radius of the cylinder?
2.
2. So I can put the 2 here. And what's the height of the cylinder?
4 inches.
4 inches. Cool. Right. So now you just have to plug that in there. So that's actually ends up not being too bad. So what you do is you identify the shapes involved. You look up the formulas, write the formulas down, and then identify what you need to know to fill into the formula. The big guy minus the cut is the volume of what's left. Right? So it's just like a three-dimensional cookie cutter problem from before. You guys still look very worried. I'm really hoping you guys see this is not that huge of a problem here. Cone, you know how the volume of a cone. Cut a cylinder out, there's the volume of the cylinder. Subtract the 2, that's what's left after you cut that cylinder out. A core sample of an ancient ice cream cone. From way back in the 90s. So long ago.
No one has those anymore.
What would the answer
How do you feel old?
I have no idea. The height for this guy was 4. So you just gotta multiply that out, subtract.
So it's going to be 3.14 times 2 squared, which is 4, times 4.
Good.
Subtracted from the same result
Yeah.
from the others.
1/3 of pi, 2.5 squared. Yeah. So now it's just plug in the calculator, chug away, subtract them.
But it's, you multiply pi times 1/3.
Yeah. It says 1/3
So
times pi times 2.5 squared times 11. You can put it all in the calculator, all in a straight line. Right? It's all.
So do we, in the calculator, we put 0.33?
No, 1/3 is not 0.33. If you want to do it that way, you got to put 0.3 and then never stop. So let's not do that. Let's do 1 divided by 3 times pi times 2.5 to the second power times 11.
Okay,
I
so
don't know how to do it.
the actual 1 is divided p. Okay.
Mhm. That's how you do fractions in the calculator. A fraction is just a division problem. So the calculator will eat that up for lunch. You don't approximate that as 0.33. That's way too far off. That 3 goes forever. So don't do that way. Just do 1 divided by 3. Let the calculator worry about the infinite 3's. I don't want to worry about that. Is that good? Is that? What's up?
I was saying, I think I did it right.
Okay. So the answer should be 21.73 cubic inches. When you take that minus that. Okay. So there you go. There's a semi-freebie there.
Can you do number 28 just to see if I
The
did it?
28 one looks crazy.
28?
Yeah.
That one looks even crazier.
That one.
It's not,
Whoa,
that
what's
hard
behind
is
there?
just-
Somebody's hidden stuff. Remember these days?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Oh, you hated them when you were there, and now you miss them.
Let's make it a
No,
good
actually-
discussion.
Actually, when I was in it, I was supposed to.
Okay, 28. So when I look at that, of course, can everybody see the red okay? Always?
yeah.
Okay.
No colorblind.
Let's see if I can do this. You can do it, Jeff. Come on. Yeah. All right, it's not too bad. I'm going to cut this out.
You can't do it.
Look at Dewey. This goes back. Watch out. Screw it. This goes back. Whatever. So you get this. There you go. That's not too bad. So we cut this middle part out. We lift the outside. But so what's the shape to begin with?
Triangle. Triangular prism.
A
I want
right
to get somebody
triangle,
laughs from drawing
a
it.
right triangle with a rectangle in there.
So what kind of shape is this? The whole thing before they made the cut?
Right.
It's a prism,
Prism.
right? It's a repeated shape. So the volume of a prism is always big as BH, right? Good. Because there's no real formula for this in general, unfortunately for us. So again, this is a prism. Why? Because it's a circle that's been repeated over and over and over again. What's the volume? It's big as BH. What's big as B? Pi r squared. That's the area of the circle. So that's where this formula comes from this. I don't have a formula for this directly. I have to use the idea.
Right.
It's a repeated shape. Find its area times how many times it's repeated. The length it's repeated along, right?
Right.
So when they tell me about the triangle, it's 6 by 8. So what's big ass B? Was it inches?
1/2, 6 times 8.
Yeah, so it'll be 1/2, 6 times 8.
Which is 24.
Does everybody recall that? Because the base is a triangle. Every triangle is 1/2 base times height. So 1/2 to 6 times 8, 24. 24 what?
Inches squared.
I love it, square inches.
Times 11.
So the volume will then be that big as B times the height, which is really this. So this is the volume of the prism, right?
11.
So we got 24 for the big ass B, and the H
Right.
is 11. I just like saying big ass B. So 264.
Yeah.
Inches cubed.
I love it. That's step 1, right? That's kind of like finding the area of the dough, and then we make the cut. And the cut's nice. What shape is the cut in? Rectangular solid. I love it, right? So what do we know about? So this is one thing here. That's the original, and then I'm going to cut out of that this guy. They tell me it's 3, 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is still
11.
11, right? And the volume of that would just be
132.
yeah, 3 times 4 times 11, right? Length times width times height. You gotta love that equation. So the volume of the cut is 3 times 4 times 11.
So you
Which
just
is 132
132.
inches.
132.
And of course, that's twice that. So when you subtract it, you get the leftover 132. I love it. Code days.
Dang, I got that same answer too, and I thought I got it.
No, you're fine. So I mean, you feel free to email me or call me or whatever to double check like even number problems that you don't have the answers for. That's fine.
I wish they would give you all the answers in the back of the book, because then you can check it.
That's why you buy a study guide.
Or you can just give us all the answers.
Bless you.
No.
There's
Yeah.
a study guide thing.
I just want to know what's number 74 or 5.7. That's come back to a big number.
57, 74.
Yes, it's on page 295.
Oh yeah. I like it. All right, I tell you what. Let's review a little bit in 5, and then we'll try that problem out, and then we'll finish out 5-7. All right, so what do we know from 5-7? Whoa.
Throwing big, sorry.
Sorry. Yeah,
I have a little bit of a klutz
we do
today.
that sometimes.
Sorry about that.
What do we have from 5-7 so far? We have for an arithmetic